Despite being only 10, Bart Simpson has had plenty of love interests in his time. Some end up unsuccessful, whilst others end up, well, slightly less unsuccessful. He seems to have two types: good girls and bad girls. This video, however, won't simply rank them from angelic to evil, but instead from most tolerable to intolerable to be in a relationship with, for lack of a better way of putting it. What this certainly isn't is a ranking of the episodes themselves, because dear God, the writing for the more recent ones is just awful. Also, I've only included crushes he's had on other children, and only ones which are present day, i.e. not in a future episode. Anyway, here is every Bart Simpson love interest / girlfriend ranked from best to worst. At number 11, the best girl on this list, we have Bart's first ever crush, Laura Powers. A girl called Laura moves in next door with her mum Ruth, and Bart instantly falls for her. She knows plenty of pranks, as well as how to deal with bullies. Being a bit older, Homer arranges for her to babysit when he and Marge go out. She and Bart dance and play video games together. When Bart finds out Laura's dating Jimbo, he's absolutely crushed. When Laura next babysits, Jimbo stays over, so Bart makes one of his classic prank calls to Moe. Moe threatens him over the phone, so Bart says his name's Jimbo and gives his address. Moe shows up with a knife, and Jimbo cowers, causing Laura to break up with him. Laura is by far the best balance of funny yet well-mannered on this list, reflecting a real personality, compared to plenty of the others, who are rather one-dimensional. In addition, she recognises the age difference between herself and Bart, and gives him hope, without being inappropriate. At number 10, we have Greta Wolfcastle. Whilst visiting a fair for a preparatory school, Bart chases away some bullies for a girl. It turns out to be Greta Wolfcastle, daughter of McBain, and Bart goes over to her house to watch Itchy and Scratchy. She's really interested in Bart, but he seems quite oblivious to it the whole time. He then misses a dance with her to watch Skinner do stand-up, so Lisa insists he has to break up with her. She starts dating Milhouse as a rebound, making Bart jealous. He follows her to Canada, realising what he's missing, but she's no longer interested in either of the boys. Greta didn't really display any negative qualities, and was incredibly devoted to Bart, him very much being the cause of his own issues in this episode. For this reason, I've placed her at number 10, as she seems quite lovely. At number 9, we have Mary Spuckler. Bart first meets Mary at a 4-H club, where he has to raise a calf into a strong bull. He becomes attached to the calf, so when he finds out they're going to turn him into meat, he takes him to Mary to look after. Being Cletus's daughter, her family considers offering a cow a formal marriage proposal, so they arrange a wedding, but Marge calls it off, and they save the bull another way. Fast forwarding to season 24, Bart is upset about how all of his past romances have gone south, so chases down all of his exes. He follows Mary to New York, who is pursuing a career there. When Cletus tries to get her to return home, she flees on train. Later on, Bart runs into her at school, as she gave up on her dreams due to such competition. She still likes Bart, but he continues to not pay enough attention to her, and say the wrong things, so she breaks things off. He tries to win her back in song, but it isn't enough. Mary is just another girl who was unfortunate enough to fall for Bart and get mixed up in his antics. She's a nice girl, but being 13, needs someone a bit more mature than Bart. At number 8, we have Melody Juniper. Unlike the first three on this list, Bart's relationship here was more of a side plot in this episode. Springfield Elementary gets a new music teacher, and Skinner falls in love with her. He arranges a date for Bart and her daughter, Melody, so Skinner has an excuse to be around Miss Juniper. We see very little of Melody, but she's shown to be quite quirky, and Bart has no interest. I've put her at number 8 because despite Bart not particularly liking her, she's only 9 years old, so she's going to be a bit weird, but she's certainly far easier to put up with than those higher on the list. At number 7, we have Jenny. Bart and Milhouse play a prank by unscrewing every screw in the school. Milhouse takes the fall for it, getting suspended for the week, but Bart promises to visit him every day. Bart then goes to the retirement castle, where he meets a girl called Jenny, who volunteers there. He goes on a picnic date with her, and spins huge lies in order for her to like him. However, Bart gets a surprise visit from Milhouse, who is annoyed that he broke his promise about visiting him. After pressure from Milhouse, Bart admits to Jenny that he actually used to be a bad boy, and feeling betrayed, she breaks up with him. Quite honestly, dating someone who is this goody two-shoes and sheltered would be an absolute nightmare, especially for someone like Bart. That said, she doesn't really do anything wrong, and definitely had grounds for breaking up with him. At number 6, we have Shauna Chalmers. Jimbo wants someone to escort his girlfriend, Shauna, to a film, so he chooses Bart, as he seems unthreatening. Bart takes good care of her, so as a present, she shows him her tits. Bart's a bit disturbed, but still tells her that she can do better than Jimbo, as he doesn't treat her well enough. The two of them are together for a bit, but Jimbo becomes threatening, and Lisa convinces Shauna to choose herself over the two guys for now. Being a bit older, Shauna should know better than to flash a 10-year-old. This aside, she's a sweet, be it slightly airheaded girl, who just needs a bit more confidence. Without the age gap, she and Bart would probably make a good couple, hence her number 6 spot. At number 5, we have Gina Vendetti. Bart is sent to juvie for staging a fake wedding and stealing all the presents. When there, they're expected to learn to dance with the girls, and Bart is partnered with a girl called Gina. She finds a way to escape, but being handcuffed to Bart, takes him with her. She tells Bart that if they get caught, she'll cry and blame him. They go to the locksmith, and all the while, she talks about how great her family is. Wiggum catches them, but Gina actually admits the truth, that Bart had nothing to do with it. Realizing that Gina, in fact, doesn't have a family, they have a nice dinner with her. I put Gina 5th, as she clearly had a rough upbringing, so can't fully be blamed for her behaviour, and you can see that there's more to her than a hard exterior. That said, in her current state, she isn't exactly relationship material. At number 4, we have Anneke van Houten. Bart meets Milhouse's Dutch cousin at Rod's birthday party, and she's very attractive, ignoring the fact that she looks like Milhouse. You don't see much of the interaction they have, but she gets Bart addicted to e-cigarettes. Given that she's clearly a fair bit older, it's just awful that she's getting a kid into smoking. She should know better. For this reason, and the fact that she didn't really show any redeeming qualities, I've placed her at number 4. At number 3, we have Nikki McKenna. Due to budget cuts, Skinner is forced to merge the two 4th grade classes. Bart has to sit with a girl called Nikki, who's incredibly cold. She then warms up to him, but when Bart kisses her, she freaks out, and her parents threaten to sue the school. Later, she appears in Bart's locker and kisses him back. She continues to be bipolar, for lack of a better way of putting it, for the rest of the episode. She seriously confuses Bart, and simply tells him he has a lot to learn about women. Mate, you need to get bloody checked. Don't bring a whole gender down with you. Given what a nightmare she'd be to date, I've placed her at number 3. That, as well as having lawyer parents, because them as in-laws would be a nightmare to deal with. At number 2, we have Jessica Lovejoy. Bart is captivated by Reverend Lovejoy's daughter, Jessica, when she reads a Bible passage. But when she seems fully disinterested in him, he goes out of his way to be good, even joining Sunday school. He still can't please her, so gives in and plays a prank on Willie. Jessica sees, and impressed, invites Bart round for dinner. He insults her mum, so they kick him out the house, but this only makes Jessica like him more. The two of them go out to cause some havoc, but at school the next day, Jessica acts as if she doesn't know Bart at all. She makes him do some more extreme things that he didn't want to, and when Bart breaks up with her, Jessica steals the money from the church collection plate and frames him for it. The whole town becomes mad at him, but Lisa reveals the truth, and they find the cash stored under Jessica's mattress. Bart learns to be less naive, but Jessica clearly learns nothing. Jessica is placed at number 2, because dating her would only lead to Bart getting in more trouble, and she clearly has no remorse. At number 1, we have Darcy. When Bart accidentally saves the whole town from a huge fire, Mayor Quimby grants him one wish, so Bart asks for a driving license. Homer gives Bart a phone so he can do errands for him, but this drives Bart crazy, so he flees to North Haverbrook to get away. He picks up a girl called Darcy, and the two grow closer. She insists that because they made out, they now have to get married. In shock, Bart admits that he's only 10, and she tells him that she's pregnant of a Norwegian bloke. So they head off to Utah, where anyone can marry anyone. But just in time, both sets of parents arrive to put an end to it. In my opinion, Darcy very much deserves the number 1 spot as the worst girlfriend. She used Bart in the worst way possible, tricking him into marrying her for her own gain. Not telling your fiancé that you're pregnant from another man is just atrocious behaviour on another level. It's concerningly psychopathic. Not only this, but when she found out Bart was 10, she was only fazed by it because it meant they couldn't marry. It didn't seem to bother her that she'd been necking someone 5 years younger than her, and she probably would have continued if the wedding went ahead. I mean, yeah, I guess they're both kids, but 15 and 10 is at least a bit noncy if you ask me, especially considering Bart's prepubescent. And so my list is concluded. Am I the only one who noticed Bart has a very specific type when it comes to girls' eyes? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment your thoughts. Like and subscribe to let me know if this is the kind of content you want to see. And if you enjoy cartoons, definitely check out my other videos, as I make my own animations and would be so appreciative if you could help me kickstart what I love doing. In any case, thank you for watching.